Yo, also, by the way, I know all these videos in the car and shit might be a little boring. Like, obviously, I understand that change of scenery would be fucking nice, or to be able to be in the places that I talk about, like training and doing all the shit. But anyway, I'm working on that. Some books that I'm trying to get into. Well, first of all, I think it's super important to read books because they give you so many ideas and they give you so many. They can spark your mind with all these new ideas, and they can help you in your life and give you new insights and perspectives on so many things. Reading books, super important. Now, I'm not even gonna lie, I fell off from reading books daily for a little while, like with school and everything. With school and my shitty ass job that I fucking hate. It's so time consuming, and like sometimes, like by the time I get home, sometimes it's like 7, 8 o'clock, and like I got to get up the next day at 5:15, and I want to get my at least 7 hours of sleep, and I'm fucking tired by the time I get home. So like, and on the weekends with schoolwork and shit, sometimes I just don't have time. And it's really annoying, so I'm trying to get back on my reading grind. But I was in the middle of reading the only books I've read so far. Okay, I read the first book that I read, besides the school textbook. The first book that I read was The 50th Law by Robert Greene. It's basically it's with 50 Cent, and I love 50 Cent. If you don't know that about me yet, I'm a huge 50 Cent fan. I like rap music, number one. But I love 50 Cent because I like 50 Cent because he's always, his number one thing is driving ambition, like, you gotta believe in yourself. You can't let other people get in the damn way of what you're trying to do. You gotta be careful with the people you surround yourself with. You gotta be smart. You gotta be sharp. You can't be a fool. You can't be a sucker. You gotta take control. He's doing what I want to do. He works for himself. He makes smart decisions. He makes money. He doesn't work for anybody, and that's something that I really admire. So. And plus, he makes music about all this shit, so that's why I'm a huge fan of him. And The 50th Law was an excellent book. It was so cool, and that led me to my next book, The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. And I read probably 75% of that book. That book was awesome because if you haven't. You should check that book out. It's really cool because it'll explain a law to you. I don't fucking know why I always gotta clear my throat. Have you noticed that? I'm always clearing my fucking throat on camera, and I don't know why. It's really annoying. I'm gonna have to look into that. 48 Laws of Power. Anyway, super good book. It'll explain to you it'll give you the law, what the law of power is. It's 48, obviously. Explains to you the law, and then it gives you examples of it in history from real people, and then it shows you the positive and the negative sides of the law, the benefits and how it can be detrimental to you. So that book was really cool. After that, I read a little bit of Art of Seduction by Robert Greene. And I didn't get far in that book, but that book was really cool. I got 40% of the way through that book. But that book was really cool. Then after that, I decided to get The Way of Zen by Alan Watts. Yo, if you don't know who Alan Watts is, you gotta check him out. He's a fucking animal. He's a genius, that guy. He's from, I think, the 60s. That time period, or 70s maybe even 80s, I don't know, something like that. And do bioenergetics today, so I'm trying to breathe into my balls. You know what I'm saying? So, Alan Watts, awesome dude. Look his shit up. He's a philosopher, basically, and his ideas will blow your mind away. So I, again, only read fucking like 40. I don't even know. I didn't get far in that book. I'm getting fucking depressed talking about all the books that I haven't finished. But after that, my next book that I started was King, Warrior, Magician, Lover, and that's a book that I started reading recently, and I fell off because of fucking school and my stupid ass fucking job. And but I'm gonna continue reading that book. I actually this fucking weekend, I'm gonna pick the book back up and start reading heavy. Like, that's a book I'm trying to finish like ASAP. You know what I'm saying? So no more of this putting reading books off. I'm fucking getting down to business. And King, Warrior, Magician basically is about, there's 4 archetypes of the masculine and even the feminine, but this book is basically about the masculine, and it's about how the 4 archetypes of the masculine, that's what it's about. And it kind of explains like why so many men have lost their sense of who they should be, and how society is kind of fucked up a little bit. And it's really, really interesting. And so that's a book I need to finish. And I took notes. Thank goodness. I took notes on what I've read so far. So I'm just going to reread my notes and then continue where I left off. I don't remember who King, Warrior, Magician is by. It's by 2 people, I think. But there's 4 archetypes: the king, the warrior, the magician, and the lover. And there's sub-archetypes to each one. And each sub-archetype is basically what they call the immature masculine, leading up to the mature masculine, which is the king, the warrior, the magician, and the lover. It's not even a long book. So as soon as I'm finished with that, I'll give you guys my take on it and my, what I think of it. And those are the books that I've, come across so far. Oh, I've also read, I listened to The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, I think his last name is. And then the other one, the 4 Love Agreements. I don't think that's what it's called, but it has to do with love, relationships, something like that. And those 2 books were super good. I listened to those on audio, and also this book called The Brain and the Emotional Intelligence I listened to on audio. That book is really interesting. It basically, actually that wasn't an audio, but it was on my iPhone that I read it, and there was audio in it, like little interview, little clips with like psychologists and scientists. And that book was about how our brains work, how they're wired, and why we do certain things, and what part of the brain is responsible for what emotional responses and like instincts. Really interesting book, actually. I would suggest that book too. It was really cool. So those are all the books that I've come across. I don't think I've read any more, but I should give you guys my Pinterest. I have a list on Pinterest, a board that I made. I have like 100 books in that list all books that I want to read. And there's so many good books in there, and I'll put my Pinterest name on, I guess, I don't know, in this video on the bottom, and you can check that out. After King, Warrior, Magician, Lover, my next book, it's going to be a hard decision, but I think I want to read Mastery by Robert Greene. At Elliot Holst's Strength Camp this past week, and that book came up so many times, as well as others, but Mastery, I've been hearing, like when people talk about it, you can tell how people feel about certain things in their voice, the way they present it. their language. And that book was, I could tell people were passionate about that shit. So that's going to be, after King Warrior Magician Lover, that's going to be my next book, I think, that I'm going to read. If not, if not that book, it's going to be some kind of business book or marketing book, because I want to start educating myself on business and marketing. So that's it. I'll holler at you later. Peace.